Welcome to the latest Craft Stash Paper Crafting Basics guide. Our Craft Stash guides are designed to show you common techniques alongside tips and tricks within the world of paper crafting. In this video we're going to look at how to heat emboss a stamped image. So a few things that you're going to need. I've chosen the Tropical Blooms from the Apple Blossom range for my stamps. I've already picked the stamp I'm going to use out of the set and it's this one. Next you're going to need your embossing powder. I'm using the Wow embossing powder and this is a silver metallic powder because I thought you'd be able to see that change quite well on the card that we use. Next you're going to need your acrylic block with whatever stamp that you use. You're going to need a heat gun and this has a safety on-off switch and it's just directional heat out of one end. It's not like a hairdryer. A hairdryer would blow your embossing powder away because of the force of the air that comes out of it. So these are specifically made for using with heat embossing. And then you're going to need an embossing stamp pad. This is a clear stamp pad. Now don't worry, over time it will change colour slightly with the stamps that you're using, because if you use stamps that you've used a lot with different colours, it will start picking up a little bit of colour. So don't worry about that because you don't see the colour from the embossing pad. It will only pick up the embossing powder. So that's our embossing pad. I'm using a few sheets of cardstock on my cutting mat and a piece of kitchen roll just to protect my mat against the heat, because it does get very hot with the heat gun and I don't want my mat to melt or burn. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp the image of the flower onto my cardstock. So I'm using my stamping mat and a nice piece of white card. So I'm going to gently tap the embossing pad onto the flower and then I'm going to stamp this onto the white card. Now because I've used this stamp previously, it's still picking up a little bit of colour, but that it doesn't matter and it helps me to be able to show where I've actually stamped it to you. So I'll just stamp it again, like so. So those are two nice images and I'm just going to put the lid of my pad on. Next I can bring in a piece of scrap paper that I've folded through the centre because I want this to be able to collect the embossing powder that I don't use. So all you have to do is open your embossing powder and tip this on to your stamped images. The stamped image will only retain as much embossing powder as it needs. Simply tap off the excess. If you get any little bits around the edge, you can take a fine brush and brush them away. Or you could, to begin with, use an anti-static stamp mat, and that's a chalk based mat that you gently run over your paper and it will take away any fingerprints and leave it as a nice clean surface to stamp on so that you can emboss on it. So that's our embossed and stamped image, and I'm just going to pop that to one side for a minute because the excess embossing powder that we've collected on our scrap paper now just simply goes back in our pot and we save that to be used for next time, because as crafters we're not going to waste anything and that little pot of embossing powder will last for such a long time. So now we're going to heat emboss our images. I'm going to do it from the top of the image and not underneath because I want you to be able to see it turn and how to do it in the basic stage. I think heat embossing from underneath is a little bit further on for our technique that we're doing now. However, if you have dexterity trouble or trouble with holding the heat gun, then give it a go. So I'm going to turn the heat gun on. It's going to be quite noisy to begin with, but I'm sure you'll hear the dulcet tones of my voice still over it. And I'm going to try and hold the flowers in a way that you'll be able to see the embossing powder turn into molten, and so it'll turn to a flat finish with a shiny metallic top. So that's our embossing gun, and I just need to pick it up and hold it over 3-4 centimetres away from, inches away from our embossed image, and I'm hoping, there we go, it's turning nicely. Take the gun around the image, don't waft it like that because that won't help. Hold it in the same place and just slowly go around the image till it's all embossed like that. And then we can put the embossing gun down, and that, now the difference, because that's nice and shiny and heat embossed, and that won't go anywhere. It's on there, it won't run or smudge or anything, and you can use it for all your projects, for scrapbooking, card making, etc. And there's so many different embossing powders available. I do hope this has helped. If you're a little unsure about trying heat embossing, please don't be. It's not scary, and it's something that can change your projects so much and make the stamped images stand out against whatever you're creating. If you're looking for more ideas or inspiration, please check the Craft Stash website. There's so many gorgeous projects on there from the design team. There's lots and lots of ideas. There's more basic guides. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with Craft Stash. And it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.